An owl. This is not to be confused with the little barnyard animal that sits up on top of your barn and watches you late at night. This is actually a device that it was normally used. It sort of looks like, it resembles, that's the best word to say, it resembles a modern day ice pick. And what the carpenters would do with this is they would make tiny holes in wood, normally. Okay. Now, this device was also used for another purpose. Okay. And before we talk about that other purpose, I'm going to tell you that until you watch the video marked Exodus chapter 21 that I made, don't watch this one, because you're going to have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about unless you watch that one first. So don't stand there and start leaving me comments on this one until you've watched that one, then come back and watch this one. Okay? Now, in this case, an owl was used to poke a hole in the earlobe of a human being, and then a special type of earring was put in there to indicate that you were then a slave. Okay? And by doing that, you indicate you are a slave for the rest of your natural life. Now here's my commentary on that. Let's take a look at society today. A lot of kids, we're talking about 12, 14, 16 years old, so on and so forth. Okay, they go out, their parents give their permission, which I can't even imagine a parent giving their permission to do something like this, but they'll have their ears pierced. Of course, they'll have other things in their bodies pierced. They'll have a belly button piercing, and well, when they get a little older, then they pierce their private parts. Okay, but it always usually starts with the ears. Never really stops there. The nose rings and mouthpieces, and I could go on and on. But anyway, a lot of times they get these piercings, but then they can't afford to pay the bill for it. So aren't they slaves? Of course they are. They're slaves to that bill until it gets paid. And now they have an outward marking showing that they're slaves to these bills. And a lot of these people that get older and have these unbelievable piercings usually can't afford to buy food for themselves. Usually can't afford to pay the rent. So now they got an outward mark that shows just how much they are slaves of the economy. Isn't that nice? These kids and these young adults don't realize it, but they're actually getting the very markings that just shows how much of a slave they are to the economy. Why would you want to have anything placed in your body, on your body, that would show that you are a slave to your society? You don't see me with any body piercings. This doesn't happen. Why? Because I don't want to show anybody that I'm a slave to anything. And I'm not either. There's a little surprise. So, before you go out there and get yourself body pierced, just remember what it originally meant in the Bible. In the Bible, it clearly states, you got pierced in the ear, you were a slave for life. Why would you want to show people that you're a slave for the rest of your natural life? You don't. Might want to think about that before you get a body piercing. Now, I know in other cultures it doesn't mean that, but I'm telling you, from the Bible's definition, you got pierced like that, you were a slave. And to use an owl? My gosh. You know what they used to do with those owls? They used to make the tips of them really hot so they could poke it in real quick. That's how they kept them sterile, supposedly. But in this day and age, when we got MRSA running around everywhere and other very deadly diseases, do you really want to take the risk of getting yourself pierced? And then to have an object in your ear or some other part of your body that's clearly going to indicate you are a slave to our economy? Do you really want to do that? I don't think so. But anyway, there you go. There you have it. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.